evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I am your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Viciousn. Gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Boston, Massachusetts. I always say, hands down, the three best crowds in the U.S. have got to be, hands down. I swear the three best crowds in the U.S. Philadelphia, I may be a little biased being but Philadelphia is my beloved hometown. Boston, and you know, as much as I give Chicago shit for all the Pepsi Man chants, I still give them credit where credit's due. They're very hardcore, diehard fans. Chicago. Now with that said, before we get into this week's Raw, we're going to switch gears. Talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Well, it started out with Roman and the family coming down. Roman basically saying, I run WWE. WWE owns New York. Ergo, I own New York. And then out comes Brock Lesnar. Brock then goes and just gets the mic, cuts a promo saying to Paul basically, hey Paul, why didn't you tell Roman I was going to be there? And then just Paul's like, well, I did not know. I did not know this. I had no way of having this knowledge on hand. And yeah. So Roman and the Usos, they leave the ring. It leaves Brock and Paul in there. And then Paul does the introduction for Brock Lesnar, just like in ye olden times. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending WWE Heavyweight Champion of the World, Brock Lesnar! Oh, yeah. Madison Square Garden damn near blew the roof off on that. Brock Lesnar looked like he was having straight up fun. It's like, hey, you know, I missed that. And Paul, I gotta tell you, I gotta ask you one thing. Before Roman fires you, I want you to give me a Universal title match. And then again, Paul looking like, I can't do that. And then, next thing you know, Brock goes to scoop up Paul. He has him up in the fireman's carry position like he's about to go and hit the F5. Roman swoops in, hits Brock, and then it leads to a big brouhaha. Eventually, Roman and the Usos scatter. And then later on in a backstage interview, Paul says the tribal chief will address the fans when he is ready to. Fast forward to the end of the night, Roman said, to pretty much sum it up, he says, after I'm done taking care of Finn Balor, then I'm coming for you, Brock. And then out comes the Demon. Finn Balor has officially gone bye-bye. We're back to the Demon. So, I know some people are kind of trepidatious, if that would be the right choice of words for it, or a little about the Demon, you know, but I always use this analogy to explain it. Read the Batman R.I.P. series, and Batman set up a specific thing called the Batman of Zahura thing. Batman of Zahura. It was a little thing he set up with his head. Little mental tick in his head, if you will. Where the Batman of Zahura, that's what happens when you take Bruce Wayne out of the equation. The Demon, same thing. It's what happens when you take Finn Balor out of the equation. And you're giving in more to your evil side. You're more open to lashing out more aggression, more violence, not, you know, instead of after you just feel like you just got kicked by a mule and be like, okay, I'm gonna sit here for a minute, ow. You just get up, you're like, okay, now I'm pissed. Basically like that. So now that we're done that, other big highlights, Uh, Becky and Bianca had a contract signing which full-on solidified Becky's heel turn, where she was saying, listen, I gave up being at home with my daughter for all you people. All of you people were chanting, we want Becky, we want Becky, we want Becky. Now I'm here, and not only am I here, I'm back in my rightful spot as champion, and now you all want to boo me? No, this is why I will not fight on your time. The champ will fight on the champ's time when the champ is ready, and that's why I'm waiting until Extreme Rules. Yeah. We also wound up getting Seth versus Edge. Seth versus... Yeah, I almost said Edge Rollins. Damn it! Got a botch in the SmackDown Rewind. Fuck! That's a first, I think. Seth Rollins versus Edge, round 2. This time, it was... I fucking dug this shit out of this one. This was just as good as their match at SummerSlam. I can't fucking put it any other way. It was that goddamn good. I dug this shit out of it. I thought it was good. Really liked on how Seth was really kind of dictating the pace in that match. Especially at the end where he was just looking at Edge like... And literally yelled, and clear as day, and the camera picked it up, why won't you die? Which is something relatively shocking to hear considering WWE's PG, and that's... I'm pretty sure that's a choice set of words that's marked down on the big list of no-nos. But after he said that, popped Edge in the face with a super kick, then hit him with a curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. Got the win, but the big storytelling part after that was, at the end, Seth just sat there in the corner looking because the ref had to call for medics. It was a curb stop done on the Edge's surgically repaired neck. Oh my god, pandemonium, shock, terror, fear, because Edge just laying there like a turnip. And Seth like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't. He forced me. He made me have to go down that road. I didn't want to. And beautiful. Because think about it. Think about it. The last time we saw Seth go down that kind of a road of basically being mentally checked out, so long, bye-bye, was right after he lost the world title shot against Drew McIntyre, and then he wound up doing that whole eye thing with Rey Mysterio. So, yeah. Also, we got Street Profits versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Titles. That was a damn good match. Probably the coolest part in the match was that halfway through, one of Montez Ford's shoes actually came off. And then Ford, instead of going to try and slip it back on when the action slowed down a little, he just picked it up, boom, threw it out into the audience. And was like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm going to work the rest of the match with only one shoe on. Way fucking cool. Guarantee you'll never see somebody go and play football with only one cleat on. But yeah, Roman jumped in when it looked like the Profits were about to go and bring it on in and get the win, and then he cut that promo I mentioned at the beginning. So that's the big highlights from SmackDown. With that said, let's get into this week's show. It starts off with Big E. Yes, that's right, Big E coming down because he touted out earlier in the day via the Twitter that he was going to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on whoever wins the WWE Championship match later on tonight, I should say, because while we did mention that the match last week, we did mention that the match would be set at Extreme Rules. Over the course of the week, it did get moved to Monday. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, Big E comes down, gloating on it, and then out comes Randy with Riddle, and then out comes Bobby, and god damn, Bobby Lashley came out looking like $1 million, looking like he was wearing like a John Wick kind of suit. Like, dude, listen, I'm not much of a suit guy, but man, I'm wish I could pull off a suit half as fucking good as Bobby Lashley, man. Like, no lie. Either way. So, Randy and Bobby are going at it via the mic, and then MVP steps in, basically saying, no, hold on. We had this match all set up and all ready to go at Extreme Rules, but Randy, of course, Randy being Randy, politicking his way into getting it moved up in advance, all for the simple fact you want to try and throw us off our game. It ain't gonna work. Randy then said, I didn't have to politic nothing. All I had to do was just go over, talk to the right people, and say, hey, I wanted this. Can we make this on Monday? And it was done. Which, boom, shows that right there. Yeah, I dug the shit out of that part right there because you're bringing in a small sense of realism. Because, well, everyone knows Randy is been around. The legend killer has become the legend, so to say. And yeah, listen, you don't get to the top without having some pull. So that goes without saying. And I'm not just talking in wrestling, I'm talking in life in general. You know, you don't get to be a manager at a store without having some pull. You don't get to be you don't get to get up higher in the food chain without having some kind of pull, in a way. So, yeah. Them two squabbled for a minute, and then Big E chimed in like, oh boys, did you forget later on tonight, no matter if you win or if you win, I'm cashing in, and guess what? I'm gonna win. And Randy basically gave the I'll give you the 3 most destructive letters in sports entertainment speech. Big E said, you even think about trying to cash that in on me, I'm going to shove that thing so far up your ass you could taste the fine print. And yeah, that was it. And then when Big E was taunting Lashley, holding the briefcase up in his face like that, Randy, boom, then popped him with an RKO. So now we get to our first match of the night. Charlotte Flair, Shayna Baszler, non-title match, not a proving grounds match, I may add either. It is just a simple one-on-one. Now, dug the quick start. Shayna, Shayna was trying to go for close in for the kill early on in it, which I fucking dug and I really dig the shit out of because, you know, with given Shayna's background, you know, being fighting, that's one thing you get taught. You don't draw a fight out. Don't draw the fight out. Try and end it as quick as possible. If you want to go and enjoy it, you want to enjoy it, but dude, that's on you, and you are more than likely going to lose. And those are lessons I learned getting into fights growing up. But I dug the match. I thought it was a good opener match. I had a lot of nice back and forth. The ending was kind of to me, but it adds to story because Nia wound up distracting Shayna and Nia was doing that basically because of payback via last week with Shayna's distraction. And then Charlotte, boom, hit a running boot on the Shayna 1, 2, 3. Later on, it's officially announced as of next week, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are going to go one-on-one. That basically just kind of reminds me of like if you have two brothers arguing with each other non-stop, just screaming and fighting with each other, and you just have that parent say, you know what, that's it. You two get in there, deal with your differences, and when you're done, it's over. Basically just saying that. And anyone that's grown up with multiple brothers and or sisters knows exactly what I'm talking about with that. Post-match, a little Miss Bliss, oh lordy, I needed the heart pills there, and pretty sure I'm going to need a ice pack for a brain duster later. Sorry. Because Little Miss Bliss came out. She came out with Lily with a packet, with a present for Charlotte. Charlotte at first didn't want it, saying, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Fine, I'll take it. Well, it's not ticking. And then opens it up, and then it's a Lily doll that looks like Charlotte. It's named Charlie. Now we opened up the possibility of WWE Shop making Lily dolls that look like the women's wrestlers. Because we already got Lily, now we have Charlie. I'm not gonna lie, I think that would be a cool idea for them to do, and that could be a very potentially good lucrative outlet. Because you can get to the collectors or to the fans, you know, like the Charlotte Flair fans, the Charlie doll. Asuka fans make a Lily looking Asuka doll. You know, just things like that. But yeah, she gave her that, and then Charlotte said, you know, I'm too old for this stuff. I don't collect dolls. I collect championships. And then tossed it back at Bliss. Bliss then hit her with a code red, and then was standing triumphant in the ring holding the title, emphasizing on how she feels she's going to win at their match via Extreme Rules. Honestly, here's the thing. Would I be cool with Bliss being champion? Yes. However, given her character, how she is now, I don't think it's needed. You know, I mean, think of it like this. If you were a fan of the creepy characters, like we'll say for the Boogeyman, did the Boogeyman need the title? He didn't need the US, he didn't need the Intercontinental. He sure as hell did not need a tag title. You know, it's just sometimes you got a character that's just so good, you don't feel like that they need a title at that time. You know, but either way. Next matchup we got trios action. McIntyre and the Raiders going against Jinder, Veer, and Shanky. And Drew's in the ring. Jinder and the boys do a run-in on him before the Raiders come out. The Raiders eventually come out. This was a bit of an interesting match, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of water cooler rumor talk, and we all know the golden rule here on this show, folks. Take rumors with a grain of salt. That's always the golden rule. Take rumors with a grain of salt, because you're probably it's more than likely not true, and it's just being made up because some dirt sheet jerk off one is being fed shit via second, third, or even fourth hand, or they're connecting dots they don't see. But either way, the rumor and innuendo it's a lot of that shit's like rumor and innuendo is what I was saying. Either way, as far as the match goes, Eric, he was the punching bag for a bit, and then Drew McIntyre got in. Drew got the hot tag, actually, believe it or not. Cleaned up house, was beating the crap out of everyone. The one thing that keeps driving me nuts on this, with Jinder and his group, with Jinder, Veer, and Shanky. Why the hell do they keep having Shanky? Shanky! The big 7 foot, 300 plus pound dude. Constantly getting put on the ass end of an ass whooping. I'm just looking, I'm like, what the hell kind of a big man is he? For fuck's sake. Like, what? Like, But either way, match came to an end when Drew wound up hitting the Claymore, like I said, on Shanky. Got the 1, 2, 3. Corey Graves even mentioned on commentary that Ivar never got a chance to participate and get a tag in. That's where I'm saying you're probably going to see a lot of rumors circling around over it. Next up, we got Damian Priest doing a challenge to Jeff Hardy for the U.S. title. Sheamus is at ringside doing commentary. And this was a good, solid match. I dug the shit out of this, man, you know. And I give credit where credit's due. A lot of people were poo-pooing and shitting all over the idea of, oh my God, Jeff Hardy was part of the 24/7 title chase crowd at such and such time ago. Oh, they're killing him. He should leave. This and dude, I make this argument all the time. If a wrestler is not happy where they're at, happy being in the company, they could do one of two options. Ask for their release, or just sit at home and wait their contract out. Because, and here's the thing, if you ask for your release, you get it. Okay, then you wait 90 days, move on, go work in company B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. It's the nature of the business. If you're not working in one company, you're working in the other. There's nothing saying you can't sit at home. Hell, CM Punk did. CM Punk did. Infamously. Pac did. Fucking that walking steroid-induced freak of nature Ryroid did. Ugh. Fucking hate mentioning him, but still, he did. They all sat at home and sat their contracts out. Despite, everything. They didn't like where they were, so they sat home. So they sat on their ass and said, no, I'm not playing. And that was it. So, honestly, if a wrestler is really that dissatisfied, no different than being at any other job, like if you're flipping burgers at Burger King or selling books at Barnes & Noble. If you're not happy with your fucking job, fucking quit or walk off. Walking off would be no different than sitting your contract out. Just, ugh. Either way. Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, this was a good solid match. I dug the shit out of it. I fucking loved it. You know, Jeff was leading the pace of the match post-break. You know, it was a good match. I really was, there was one or two times I was sitting there like, oh, is Jeff really going to get the win? Huh. Could he? No, I don't think he's gonna. But he's looking at it. He's looking at it. Alright, color me impressed. Priest got the win doing the reckoning. Afterwards, Sheamus, he stepped in doing a post-match beatdown. And then tucked tail and ran. The second, Priest went to go and try and get him with a brogue. So yeah. Next up, now we got women's action. We got Nikki A.S.H going against Tamina. And, well, it was an interesting match with a very awkward head-scratching inducing ending. Which, I'm not the first to make this reference or point, but you can have a really interesting and compelling story in some kind of way or another. Like in this case, Tamina was powering over Nikki throughout the majority of the match. Throughout all of the match, I should say. Nikki got very little defense in. But Nikki got the win at the end doing a tornado DDT, but right at 3, you see Tamina throw her shoulder up like whoom, like a kick out kind of pop, like a pop up. Not that, I tried kind. And Tamina's just looking like, huh? What? Huh? And it's just, what the fuck? We're probably going to see, you're probably going to hear some water cooler what the fuck rumor talk again. But either way, afterwards there was a post-match beatdown with Tamina and Natayla going on her and Rhea, which then leads to Rhea versus Natayla. And Natty was pretty much leading throughout the match, you know. She was moving like at 100 miles an hour, hitting chain wrestling, doing submission moves early on. She was just moving. And I give Natayla credit where credit's due. She is a phenomenal wrestler. No different than, like I said before, with the Hart family. Brett, phenomenal wrestler. Just like Natayla is. However, you give Natayla a microphone, it's a three-way tie to see who's more monotone. Natayla, who's more monotone when they speak? Natalya, the Bella Twins, or a phone sex operator lady from the 90s. It's just, ugh. She's got no character, no charisma, nothing that makes me go and say, ooh, look at her, she's good. Nothing there to make me want to go and do that. You know, and I'm not talking like in the old hound dog kind of way, which, let's face facts, that's not within the realm of possibility given me, but pretty sure I just earned another brain duster, but either way, I'm talking character-wise. I don't see nothing. But yeah, match came to an end when Nikki broke up a roll-up, which, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Odin, Zeus, whoever up there heard me, thank you. You gave me one episode of Monday Night Raw without a roll-up finish. What is thy bidding, and it shall be done. We finally got an episode of Raw without a roll-up finish. I have so many people to thank. Fuck it, let's move forward. Nikki broke up a roll-up attempt by Natalya, which then led to her and Tamina fighting, which then got Natalya distracted, which then led to Rhea then locking in that reverse cloverleaf of hers. And honestly, and I'm trying not to sound overly critiquing, like I'm overly critiquing, but I'm just thinking, Rhea, she's a tall girl. And all I'm thinking is, wouldn't it make sense if, like, when she does it, she drops down on one knee so that way she can say she's putting, that way they could just say, oh my God, they're doing that because she's adding extra pressure onto them now. And also, they could also play to saying that they can't roll their way out of it. I will give credit where credit's due. Natalya did do the one thing I always absolutely swear by with a submission in. Hold it for a little bit like, nah, I got it. Nah, I give, and then tap. She held out for a little bit. And I give credit where credit's due because that's the one thing. Anytime I see a submission in, and the second it gets locked in, I see a tap out, I get fucking hot. You want to see me get fucking hot? See somebody get a fucking submission in. I don't care if it's a full Nelson, a figure four, an arm bar, a knee bar, whatever the hell. Any kind of submission, whether complex or simple. But the second it's locked in, you see a tap out. You know, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Hold out for a few seconds. Give a small sense of realism on it. Like, ugh. Anyways, now we're up to a next match is a 8-man tag match. Mansoor, Ali, and the New Day going against excuse me, going against Mace, T-Bar, Uncle Alan, AJ Styles, and Omos. And this was pretty much what you expected. Heels were leading at the start, leading into the break. Ali was the punching bag into the break. Post-break, Mansoor was the punching bag. I believe it, it was Xavier Woods who got the tag in, who got the hot tag in. Kofi followed up after, and they started cleaning up house. So it's suffice to say, New Day cleaned up house and started clearing things out. And then eventually AJ was in there working with. He was in there working with Ali for a minute, and then Omos tagged himself in. The big man came in. He absolutely murdered Ali. He had him, and then Mansoor went for a chokehold. New Day went for his legs. And he's just holding Ali like this until eventually, rips Mansoor off his back, picks New Day up, and then throws them. And then he scoops up Ali, and then double choke slam, one-handed pin on top of him, 1, 2, 3. I know Kevin Nash said he was working with Omos before COVID and pandemic and all that shit happened. I'm hoping that he's doing some schooling with him via Zooms, like just talking with him, talking business, giving him some aspects like, hey, here's a good idea on how to work like a big man. Here's some things you should do. Here's some things you may not want to do. Here's something you may want to run by the boss. Because honestly, and listen, you don't have to always agree with what I say, and I always tell you that. But personal opinion, outside of Andre the Giant, and because Andre the Giant, an entire fucking solar system and universe in and of himself as far as legends of big men go. But I gotta say, probably the most infamous and famous big man out there has gotta be fucking Kevin Nash. Because, I mean, you know, and you can make the arguments, oh, he's only like that because he hung out with Shawn and all this, that, and the other, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. I'm not talking about how he did. I'm talking about the fact that he is. He is. And it's for, and whatever the reason. Whether it's because he was with Shawn or because, you know, he had a hard work ethic or whatever. Dude, he's still, hands down, one of, if not the most famous big men in the business, excluding Andre. Yeah, next up we got another women's match. So, sidebar here, we've got, this match is Doudrop versus Eva Marie. So we've had Doudrop versus Eva Marie, Nikki A.S.H versus Tamina, Rhea versus Natayla, and Charlotte versus Shayna. We had 4 women matches on Raw, but for the past 2 weeks we couldn't get a fucking women's match on SmackDown. We had segments. I am really getting fucking annoyed with this because SmackDown used to be the fucking golden child when it came to showing women's wrestling. You know, it just, ugh. Either way, as far as this match between Doudrop and Eva Marie, yeah, it's what you'd expected. Doudrop was leading and powered over Eva. Eva, she was trying, but it was like seeing basically like seeing a 7-year-old try and win a fight against Mike Tyson. Yeah. Doudrop got the win doing a diving crossbody. Not off the top, mind you. It was just a running diving one. But, yeah. 1, 2, 3. So now we come to main event of the night. Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley. Oh my god, this was a damn good match. A lot of good action by both guys. Really dug it. Bobby, man, once Bobby shifted gears, you could fucking see it. Like, he got outside and then was just like, it looked like he was just like, alright, that's it. I'm done fucking playing. It's time to get serious. Went at Randy, got him in the fireman's carry, rammed his skull into the ring post, and then just started tearing it up on a whole other level. Then Bobby Lashley got the win via a spear onto Randy. Started then doing a post-match beatdown on him and Riddle. Now, the spear occurred when, at one point, Randy hit an RKO. Bobby, he rolled as far as he could. He was right at the borderline between, like, the ropes were here and he was right here. He was just there. Randy was able to go for the cover. 1, 2, MVP scooted him out so that way he couldn't. Ref was arguing with P. MVP holding the cane up to Riddle like, dude, I will fucking slap the shit out. I will smack the taste out your mouth with this thing. And then Randy comes over from behind, pops him with an RKO, and then once he gets back in, that's when Bobby Lashley hit that spear, and then he proceeded to do the beatdown, hit Randy with a Uranagi on the announce table. Afterwards, saw him buckle down, grabbed his knee, it looked like he tweaked it. I'm hoping that it was just storyline that he tweaked it. You know, but you saw him limping and crawling his way into the ring. Then, that's when it happened. Big E came out, he cashed in, and you want to talk about master of fucking suspense. 10:55, Big E comes out and cashes in. What do? Or 10:53, Big E comes out, cashes in. At 10:55, you know what they did? They fucking cut the commercial. Talk about fucking suspense. I'm sitting there like, you motherfuckers, end the show before it's back. End the show before we see who wins this, and I'm gonna be fucking fuming. You guys are gonna be giving me so much fucking gas to rant and yell on this show for God knows how fucking long. And then they didn't. They came back at 57, 58. And for those last 2 to 3 minutes, whew, man, Big E, he did it. He took Bobby down, popped him with a big ending. 1, 2, 3, and your winner and new WWE champion, Big E. And oh man, that was so cool to see, because I was just like, yes, way cool. New Day came out, and now Big E won. So now that just means all the boys are back. The band is back together, if you will, baby. So now let's just think about this for a minute. Xavier Woods' New Day bit is to look like Scott Hall. Kofi's is Kevin Nash. So Big E, I would have to say you can make him Macho Madness, or maybe 6. That's just me. I'm not even going to attempt to reference making a Hollywood Hogan, because that just, no, that's like water and oil right there. Ugh. Anyways, so that is it for this week's show, folks. So please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there on here in the comments, or on my Twitter at TimVicious, signing guy, Creep John going. Thank you to my executive producer, Ollie Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants, and Dubs in your face. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.